it, slowing down and making no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those windshield wipers snapping at the tempo, playing perfect rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep it rolling.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo podcast, episode number 391. I have a guest this week, and she's a new guest. Well, she sat in on the round table last week, but I've known her a while. She's a first-time guest to the audio podcast, so all of you guys, this is going to be turning you onto a new YouTube channel. I know a lot of you don't come here to YouTube, and for good reason. I know many of you. And you've told me your reasons, but if you do, those of you that do, you'll want to check her out. So she will be in all of the show notes on all of the audio podcast platforms. And I want to welcome Mico, the entrepreneur, or the customers and drivement movements. We're going to go through some of this today. So
thank you, Steve. I have audio. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Did it blow you out in the intro?
It didn't this time, so I don't know what happened. So thank you. Whatever you did, thank you.
I'm trying, man.
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing me to your platform so we can talk a little bit about delivery and the movement and things of that sort. I want to do something a little bit different, though. I want to say hi to the chat because I notice every time I type in the chat, even with my chat, it's like 2 or 3 times. And so
I'll even bring them all up here. So we got DoorDash Revolution, and he is claiming his first, so he's first. We got Jenny's books and vlogs. Hey Jenny. Hey Rev, how you doing? We got Bubba Sue. Hi Bubba Sue, how you doing? We got Red Reacts. I never know which one is Red now. So this, I mean, when people take on multiple channels, it weirds me out. I'm like, dude. Hey Jenny. Exposure. We got Ron from Massachusetts. Go gig it. What's up, Ron? And Red saying nice hat. And we got Tim Gigwise in here from St. Louis.
All right. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Before I get started, it's 2 people birthdays today and other people birthdays today. But if I can, I just want to give a shout out to 2 people.
It's our show.
Happy birthday, Red.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
It's Red's actual birthday today?
Yeah. And
happy birthday, Red.
She shares a birthday with Dash Your Life Hawaii. So Ron,
okay.
Boots.
So Ron, what's up, Boots? Happy birthday, Boots.
So I just wanted to give a shout out because these are 2 people that not only are paid Patreon members, but they're very supportive with me, and I appreciate it. So thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted to say happy birthday to you both, and anyone else in the chat. If you have a birthday today, happy birthday, and Virgo Nation.
Yeah, last year, I don't even know if you remember this, Mico, but last year on your birthday, you were doing a live. I sang you happy birthday on your live. Nobody else did, or one other person.
No, Cray did.
But I did too.
Yeah.
So
yes, I have to go back and because hers it was a little bit different because it was Red, Cray, you. Yes. So yeah. But on video, yeah.
I didn't remember till you were just saying all these happy birthdays. But yeah, I mean, yes. I agree. So, happy birthday, Red, and happy birthday, Boots. Both doing, both putting out the content, both caring about drivers. Just, both good channels to go check out. And by the way, Red is in here as Red Reacts, but Mico's wearing the hat of what you should actually find, which is Gig Wars. If you want to hook up with Red and what she's doing. And then Ron can be found at Dash Your Life Hawaii if you're not familiar. That's his handle too. We all call him Boots. But so here's what's gonna happen. So Mico mentioned a Patreon channel that she has. So that ties in more to correct me at any point if I'm wrong, but ties in more with what the movement is and some other stuff you're doing on there. So it is really, it's not just another person's extension of their content creation on YouTube or other platforms. It is literally going to be something different. And this is actually how we connected. I mean, we connected long ago, but why we connected to do this episode, because we have the driver rights movement that we've had, driver singular rights.org. All of you should be on there. We have almost 80,000 signatures. You can have your congressman right from there, saying that you want to stay independent. And it's all very straightforward right on the page, what we believe are our rights, or are our rights. And Mico's taking a different perspective of that, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But just to kind of get it going, let some people join in. I see the number coming up a little bit. So I did want to start with this because I love a Daily Dot story. I don't report most of my podcast. You guys know I will not do Daily Dot. I do them sometimes on the round table. We'll go through these stories because they're more funny than anything. But this one grabbed me a little bit because it's just so out of control. I need to find his price. Okay, so this is crazy. So this is, and I want to know, Mico, you do Instacart, right?
No.
Okay, well, regardless, everybody's still very familiar with Instacart. And I want to point this out. So even if you haven't, you've heard people say, I hate doing waters. You know, I hate having to carry water up flights of stairs. Okay. This guy got an order, and there's screenshots of the whole thing. This guy gets an order for 192 cases of water. 192. When he gets there, he couldn't believe it because he saw 192 units. He didn't take the time to look. So then he sees that it's that. So the customer had to pay, God, what was it? Just shy of $2,000. The driver made $20.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there's nothing your reaction's mine. Yeah, I can only laugh at that. However, I would have got to there and got in touch with Instacart and been like, are you renting me a van? What am I supposed to do with this? Are you getting me a U-Haul? Where is it? Because let's all recognize what 192 cases of water looks like. Like size-wise. That's pallets, people.
Right.
You need a Sprinter van. Like Gigwise has a big cargo van. He could take it, but Instacart doesn't do things based on vehicle size. So they were literally just having this out there. I mean, what about the guy who has like a Pinto? Oh, wait, that's probably going to be way past most people's age group. A Yugo. Wait, that's going to be past people's age group. Somebody who has a small Honda. What are you going to do when you get there?
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, to me, I would see this order being canceled 100 times, even by the person who does get there, a Gigwise or a Gig Geezer who has a cargo as well. Even those guys, I know Gig Geezer would laugh his ass off if he got to a location and they had 192 cases of water, and he's like, "Wait, serious?" Well, first of all, he wouldn't even do it for 100. If the units were 192 pens, he wouldn't go do that for $20. I wouldn't either.
No.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys.
Decline.
But honestly, I mean, to me, this is just ridiculous. I would think that there would be, even if it's very rare for Instacart, there would be large order pay or heavy lifting pay. There would be some kind of, even if like you didn't see it, you'd see it then. So something that alarms you, like this is not an easy job at all. This is going to be a big job. Because 192 cases, I lift stuff all the time, all day for Curry. 192 cases of water is a lot of work.
Especially if you're going to the third floor with no elevator.
Well, first of all, this one, if that was going there, I think that it was going to some work site or something. But nonetheless, I don't, first of all, I wouldn't have taken it, but I guarantee I would have just unloaded it wherever my car was and said, here's the pile, come get it. And if they were like, bring it in, I'd be like, no, absolutely, pay me $100 cash, I'll bring it in.
Oh my gosh.
There's my point. I wouldn't even do this for $100 because I couldn't. I don't think I could do 192 cases in my SUV.
Yeah.
I think it would be 2 to 3 trips. I don't even know. But I just wanted to
Wow.
point that out because I mean, it just kind of shows the scumbaggery that we see on these apps a lot. And I know we talk about it all the time, but I just like pointing out some of like how bad things can be. And I also point out how good things can be. So,
Right.
you know, we got, I mean, here's some topics that are going on right now for that I had. What we're really going to get into is what the driver right movements is and what you're doing, and that's going to be the nuts and bolts of this episode today. But I at least wanted to say these headlines, and if we want to jump into any, we can, because Mico was on, I wanted to grab some food delivery one. Now, as we move on, you'll see that she does other things, but here's some stories flying around right now around food delivery. So Uber is offering free rides and free meals for teenagers this September. Worst thing ever is Uber Teen, and I cannot tell you guys enough. They launched it last year. I've been on since 2015, and it's always been no unaccompanied minors, period. And now it's now it doesn't matter. Now it's actually a target demographic of theirs. After 15 years of no, they're finally like, it's fine. We have AMC's partnering with DoorDash. I thought that story weirded me out. And I actually read that you can have DoorDash delivered into theaters. Like, what? So
Wait. I'm sorry. AMC theaters.
here, see, I was waiting for you to get into one. Let me just bring it up and see if I can give you the nuts and bolts. Because yes, AMC theaters partner with DoorDash delivery. So 550 of their locations by spring of 2025. From what I can tell from the article, they're looking to get into a deal with DoorDash and potentially stop serving crappy food like at the movie theater. Like no more hot dogs that cost $45. No more. They're just like, think about it this way. We all say how expensive all these apps are, but it's more expensive they actually looked at it like, well, even at your ridiculous rates, we can make it cheaper for the customers by just using you.
Can you imagine what those delivery fees would be like?
Can you imagine trying to find people in the theater on a Friday night? What do you just walk in there and start yelling? I don't know. I don't know if like they're going to work out some kind of like an alert to a phone, and you're going to be. My guess would be you're in the lobby or something. But how awkward is that too? Like, what are you ordering? Are you ordering sushi and like things that are going to you taking up all this room around you? And people are like, dude, I came for the movie and get your food off me. Like,
So wait a minute. They're not partnering with them to have the driver pick up the food. They're actually delivering to the people in the theater.
And reverse. They're also doing, if you are at home and you really like AMC's perfectly popcorn, nachos, and even icy, they'll bring them to you.
You can't make this up.
So somebody could be saying like, hey, I need a burger here. And I'm not going to buy one from them. Bring it to me. And then as you get there, you could get another return out of there because somebody wants popcorn because they're going to watch, and ices because they're going to watch a movie at home.
So this is the thing.
This is the future of life, guys. This is how it's going to work. It's just like, basically, look, you're just going to pay for everything. Once you walk out your door, you're going to need to hand somebody $5 just for participating in the world that day. And then everywhere you go, you're going to have to hand $5, $10 out. Everything's going to cost a ton. And it's just going to like some kind of step system. You get 1,000 steps, you got to pay $5.
I think that DoorDash, I think what it is, DoorDash is probably saying, let's be the first to be able to do this. Because if they're the first in everything, right? Next, it'll be Uber Eats, and then it'll be Instacart and Grubhub. See, DoorDash, they like to be first ahead of the game. So this is their way of being ahead of the game And then it's something on the theater side. Maybe they're not making enough money, or, they're not at the level of their bottom line, and they need some other type of something that will, hey, we're on, DoorDash. You can order from us now. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Hope it works out.
So we did, just before I move any farther, we did get a bidder. So GigWise said he would do the water for 140 to a second and third floor, though. How about that? Would you do that?
Yeah.
Without it, with a broken elevator,
or no elevator at all? I don't know. But
because I would think that would be very weird if you would do that. So some of the other just articles these are just articles that I'll put into the show notes, guys, because they're just what's going on, because we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of what we're doing here today. But the AMC theaters. So there is 3 different articles out today, another batch out today about illegal, and they're not being coy about the words anymore, illegal immigrants and migrants. They put both in. And I don't know why they need to dig that far, but are caught using platforms, mostly Venezuelan, just going nuts on this stuff. And I'm glad they're trying to clean house, but I don't like the way they're doing it. A DoorDash driver was shot at in Texas by people on horseback. So people on horseback were walking down the road, and the DoorDash driver is trying to deliver the food. And it's an area where people are it's a new area of Houston. They're starting to populate. And the people who are there, the people who own big plots of land and stuff, they hate it. So they actually shot at the DoorDash driver to keep going. Mm-hmm. They're just kind of patrolling their area. We also have this was a weird comparison. A 1950, this is crazy. A 1950 mortgage payment average was less than an average DoorDash order. I just had to say it. I just couldn't believe this. Again, I'm gonna put all the links to these articles in there, you guys. So don't worry, they're all coming. Maybe when we start talking, I'll put them here in the live chat. So if you're watching on the replay, watch the live chat, because I'll throw it into there. But yeah, I mean, these are Mico already said it, you can't make this stuff up. So H Mart, I think this one actually gets me a bit, because like Mattress Firm. Mico, do you think Mattress Firm is going to do anything for DoorDash?
Wait, so you can pick up a mattress?
No, I'm sorry. I thought, because that's common knowledge. By the way, Mattress Firm is in every state in the country, and it's a deal that was made. It's been active for 2 weeks. So if you haven't seen one yet, it's just that you haven't seen one yet. They're active in your area. You will see, if you see Mattress Firm now, from what I've been told, the mattresses that they are the ones that roll up, where when you cut them, they're like the purples and the.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but nonetheless, still realize, guys, those weigh like 200 pounds each and are very awkward boxes. So, 200 pounds each. So yeah, I mean, like, be careful and don't think an extra $5 on one of those gigs is going to be good, because you're going to end up working real hard for that, and you're not going to be happy. But what I did like that they're adding in there, that I finally saw something that makes a little sense to me, was H Mart. And for those that aren't familiar, H Mart in this country is the largest Asian supermarket. So I think that could be a little bit of I always look for things that could actually make sense.
I think they have that in Katy, Houston.
Really?
Well, I lived in Houston, but I live in Katy. So yeah. I think they have that area. Yeah, they have that in Houston.
Right. I'm just saying, if they got it nationwide. So that's going to be a big, if people use it. I don't know if that community will use it or not. That's what will really be left to see. And then the guy we had been following in Seattle, Tony, he is actually finally launching his delivery business that he had been saying, I'm going to do it. And everybody's like, you're not going to do it. And he's launching it. He's just been a driver like all of us. So it's a fun story to follow. I will start dropping links here, because now we move into what I was normally we would go through those stories, but today's different, like I said. So I think for a long time, and in a minute here, Mico's gonna give you the full pitch on this, but for a long time, we were telling you guys to go to driverrights.org. That was run by the team at Para and myself. And we've negotiated that now where if you guys know Delivery TV, Luis, he's all Spanish channel. He's bilingual, but his channel's all Spanish and it's a huge channel. Him and I are going to run driverrights.org. This it's singular. I'll put it in the chat in a second. You guys should all be signed up there. It's very straightforward. It's basically saying like what just go there and read it because it kind of says like this is what you deserve. If you agree with it, just put your email in. That's all. It just helps us kind of have some power and leverage when we're talking to lawmakers. And yes, we do talk to them often. Mike Ruby and I are making some big strides with some people right now because whether you know it or not, we're facing a huge challenge come January about remaining independent contractors. That's more on the scale than people know at this point. And it died off for a little bit. But we're in some really uncharted waters right now, the way things are going. So there is a full push to remove it again. It's not ProAct, but it's still kind of ProAct. But we need you to go there, check it out, take a look. And that's what now we move into Mico and what she's doing, because I know it's more than this, but she's trying something I tried a couple times. It's just so difficult. But I'm devoted to trying to help her find as many of these people as we can. It's more, am I right in saying that it's more about getting the word out to the customers?
Yes.
So that's what she's kind of doing. I'm going to let her talk about it. I'm going to let her explain what the Patreon page does. We'll be put all the links and everything will be in the show notes, you guys, so you'll be able to go find it, take a look at it. But I'm going to let her explain what this movement is because I think it's great. It's just, and in fact, all of you in the live chat, please put your ideas on how we get to customers because it's tougher than you think. I mean, there's some, you can do one-offs and stuff, but it's tough to get groups of them. But I'll let Mico explain. I'll be dropping some links here while she's explaining.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Steve, for letting me come on to the platform, your platform, to talk to your audience and your viewers, to let them know a little bit more about this movement. So I started a customers and drivers movement on my Patreon channel. And the reason why that I did it on the Patreon channel is because I had to realize when you create a Facebook group, when you're on Instagram, when you do a YouTube channel, and you have, certain people with different narratives or they're negative, they have a mindset, they're not really going to follow you, or they're going to be like, oh, well, we did that already, because we did have driver walkouts or driver strikes. You can't strike as a driver because you're an independent contractor, or we had driver protests. And so I wanted to do something where, I need to work and reach out with help work with the customers. And I noticed, like, with all the driver walkouts or whatever we had, we never included customers. And I said, you know what? I need to do something. So I remember when I first talked about this with Red, Gig Wars official, and we had our conversations. I'm not going to go into detail, but, she was like, look, Mico, I don't even interview people on my channel, but I got you. I'm going to leave it like that. She was like, I got you. And that's when I had my first, we did our first live, and I talked about the movement then. And I had, some drivers, they were a little leery because, they were like, well, this is not going to work. We tried this, how dare you go against the companies? And I'm thinking to myself, like, give me a chance. I haven't even said what I was going to do or what it was going to be about. So basically what it is, this is a movement to work with customers to either reduce or eliminate some of the delivery fees so it can be better tips for the drivers and increase orders for the merchants. So you're probably saying, well, Mico, how are you going to do that? Well, I'm not going to go into my strategies of what I do because I make it look easy. I think right now on my Patreon channel, and let me say this first. On my Patreon channel right now, if someone can go to it, let me know how many members I have total. I think it's like 160 something. And I started August 1st. Now, some people probably saying, how in the world are you doing that? When you're passionate about something and people are able to listen to you at that time, I brought it down to like maybe 30 seconds to get someone to scan the QR code, tell them about it, get them to the video, and have them to maybe upgrade in 30 seconds. And when people hear your voice and hear your passion, I'm not just saying scan this QR code so I can go ahead and do this. No, you know what? Hey, I know you're tired of paying all these delivery fees. And the first thing that come out of customer mouths is, you know what? I really wanted to tip you more. I'm sorry I only tipped you $1 or $1.50, but I just paid $15 or $20 in delivery fees. Don't you get some of that? And I'm like, no, we don't get anything. We don't get that. We get paid $2.
Well, you do. You get, I mean, look, I'm not even a fan of base pay, to be honest. I've explained myself very well on this. However, I believe base pay should just be removed. It puts the company in a much tighter position, and it makes it more of a bid platform.
But this is the thing. If DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, and Ship says, well, no, that base pay we're paying you is out of delivery fees, they've never been transparent. I never received anything in the email saying, hey, when customers pay delivery fees, $2 of that base pay comes from that.
So let me just be
I'm
just going to be devil's advocate. I'm going to be like, let me be DoorDash spokesman here to that. Yes. Here's what he would reply. Well, of course, Mico, I agree with you. We're not transparent. Never have been. Never will be.
And never will be.
That's going to be their answer, because they're not. You just even said, well, unless they're not being they're not transparent. They lie to us all the time.
Yes. So basically, let me just be clear. I'm not being mean to the companies. I hear a lot of drivers like, how dare you do that? They're putting money in your pockets. You're making money. I hear it all the time. I read it in certain type of, on people's channels or in Facebook groups. Oh, it's weird because I love food delivery. I've been a merchant. I've been a once in a while customer, but I've been the driver the most. And what I've seen across of all these years of doing food delivery is when these companies first started, they were good to the drivers. They were fair.
Honeymoon period.
Yes. Now, they were good to the customers. We didn't have all those fees. The customers didn't have all those fees, and they were good to the merchants. Mm-hmm. But over time, with different projects, lawsuits, this and that, empty promises to the shareholders, they need to find money. So any business, I've been in business owner for 3 years, not a lot, but any business, a Fortune 500, Fortune 100, whatever, S Corp, whatever you are, any business, if they have to trim departments, who do you think they're going to go to first?
All of them. For these companies, I mean,
the drivers are first in these, because you have 3 components. You have the drivers, the customers, and merchants. Who are they going to take money from first? The drivers.
Yeah. But then look at Seattle. In 6 months after pay up legislation went into effect, they took it from the drivers. They took it from the customers and took away their support too, and then added a $5 city fee that was exactly the same fee, right as a line item, and upped all the prices. So they've now lost the customers, they've lost the drivers, and now year to date, they're down over $30 million year to year, all of the restaurants that use the platforms, because they're too expensive for people. So now they've even hurt your core, the merchants that make the food. Every single person in the loop is now done, and everybody's hemorrhaging money.
Well, this is the thing, Steve. So you have DoorDash and all of these companies, they're making money off of all of us. I mean,
Oh
it's a
yeah,
smart
100.
move. It's a smart move. I wish I had the idea. I wish
Well,
I had came
I
up
mean,
with it.
it goes a lot farther. And so just, I mean, they make money off, we all know they've done data sales on us for years, but they now do, whether or not they're keeping telematics and showing it to us, every company is now selling our telematics. So they're making so much money behind the scene. It's not even really about the delivery anymore. It's about what we generate for them.
Now, when I was a merchant on both DoorDash and Uber Eats, Doe Beverage was on both DoorDash and Uber Eats. And I feel like, just for me, I don't think that any company should take 20 to 30% per order. I can see per weekly total.
And
But
increased item cost.
well, yeah, because we had to, so the 20 to 30% they taken from me, I had to put it back on the orders, because it's like, okay, well, when they take it cancel it out.
Exactly.
But the thing is, you have to realize they created ghost kitchens. So it's been plenty of times. And also, let me say this too. For this movement, it's also about customer awareness. There's
Yes.
so many customers that do not know that we only get paid $2 base pay
Yeah.
to deliver your food, 0.1 miles to, and I'm not exaggerating, 50 miles. The reason why I say that is because you can be at the restaurant, they give you an order going 26 miles. Now, I'm not taking that, but they give you an order paying you, let's just say $5 for 26 miles. And then they'll turn around and give you another order while you at the same restaurant or another restaurant to go to, plus $2. You mean to tell me, and this is for like 1 mile, but you already doing the 26 miles, so it's technically 27 miles you're doing for $2.
Yeah.
You're misleading the customer. It's no way in the world, if that order was by itself, that someone will really take it. Now, eventually it'll be stacked with 2 or 3 other orders, but you mean to tell me for $2 base pay and no tip on it, that driver is going to go 27 miles? I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And then the deadhead miles back. I mean, you got to remember, not all of us are the elite level like me. Mico is the elite level. She keeps that, what is it, platinum, iron, megaphone, copper. What is it now? No, but what is it currently? What is it? Platinum?
It's platinum. With DoorDash.
Top
And then
Dasher,
Uber Eats is-
platinum, tiers, whatever. So whatever, platinum. But
right.
I am far from platinum. I am a bottom feeder and down in the teens. I did hit 20, but like now I'm back down in the teens again. But I mean, like, so for me, when let's say I'm on a scheduled dash, if one of the things they like to, the only decent ones I'll see are the ones taking me out of my zone. And that might look pretty good to me. But the thing is that you have to remember is I have to deadhead those miles back into my zone. Because if you don't have the Dash Now feature like Mico has, you can't, like, I can't accept anything till I'm back in my zone. Mico would be able to. She'd be able to grab whatever. So that's a huge thing. And so I've even, like, I was Brian Kern in Pittsburgh told me about, dude, just don't even schedule, just do Dash Along the Way if you still have it in your market. And that's what I've been doing. I do Dash Along the Way and I never leave my zone. I sit right here because even if it does take me out of the zone, I can come back to my zone. It's crazy. And like every order you take, they add another half hour onto your time to get to the zone you're going to. So I can take one that's going like 3 miles towards there and then come right back to my fishing hole in my zone. And they add a half hour to the time to get there. It's like a loophole they know about. Like, oh, you're using the loophole? Here's an extra half hour. Like they're rewarding me.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of drivers, especially because it's funny because when I'm in a restaurant waiting for an order, and I'm like, okay, let me see first if, and I hate to say this, if I can communicate with them, because it's a lot of drivers in my area, they don't speak English. So me trying to get them to scan the QR code coming up to them talking about a movement, they're like, I don't speak, they'll tell you, like, I don't speak a lot of English or whatever. So I have to pick and choose who I come up to, who I can actually communicate and they'll understand.
Right.
But
It's
I
like the guy, it's like the guy at the grocery store with the clipboard. As you walk in, you're just like, dude, I'm gonna walk. Are you registered voter? No.
Yes. So I have probably out of the 100, I think it's 66 or 67 people that I have, and it doesn't update automatically. I think it'll probably update tomorrow if I don't get any more members today. But probably 80 or 90, maybe 85% of those people are actual customers.
Okay.
On the Patreon channel. And then you have a few who are drivers. And then I didn't want to say, but I do have a few people who are merchants. I don't want to name restaurants, but
well, and
I do have some heavy support behind me.
About that. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you hit on, where I think that you can make a difference. By the way, I don't think I said this in the beginning, and I always do. Mico is from the Orlando market. The greater Orlando market, I'll call it, whatever. but she's in Florida, where I believe, I don't know if it's in effect yet. Actually, I do know this happened, that DeSantis had passed that bill about you have to use the prices in the restaurants.
Something like that. I don't pay attention to him.
Well, my point being, like how you were saying, like how a restaurant, once you learn it's 20 to 30% fees to the companies.
Right.
So you have to raise the prices. They can't do that anymore. They have to use their in-restaurant prices.
Do you think it actually happens?
Well, it's not. It goes into effect on the 1st of January.
Do you think it's actually going to happen?
I think it's going to happen only because the fines are $2,500 per instance. So that's going to a lot of revenue for Florida. Unless
they have actual people that they hire that can go around checking every restaurant menu.
Well, board. I mean, no, because all you need to do is they could just have somebody sitting in an office getting on the app. Okay, check this restaurant. Okay, all the prices are higher than they are in the restaurant. Okay, fine them.
I would love to see that.
My point being,
my
point being, another piece of legislation that I believe is only going to hurt everybody. It sucks because that is how it should. I do believe in that theory. I do believe that if I go to Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, any others, if I go into the restaurant, add all the fees you want on the platforms, and I can make my decision. But I do believe you should have to use a uniform. This is what this item cost.
Right.
It shouldn't, because then it feels like people scalping tickets or something. Like, oh, we're sold out here. Well, okay, we're selling those egg rolls up here for $8. Well, they're $4. I know, but we got them. They don't. I don't know where we're headed with all this, because honestly, I just feel like, again, I feel like these lawmakers do this just to show like we are paying attention. But I feel like there's got to be somebody in the room raising their hand going, this isn't going to work. I'm just saying, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not.
But what I was saying is, you had talked about approaching, and you had some locations that were willing to talk to you. That's huge too. Because again, you guys got to remember, a lot of these places won't want to talk to you and on a camera and stuff. But Mico has relations with a few. And the nice thing about that, I know this from doing this kind of stuff myself. Once she does those few, it's kind of like getting more customers by word of mouth. Can talk to other managers and say, hey, can you talk to her? She's trying to put this thing together. And slowly more and more managers will come forward, or people that can speak on the camera.
Yes. So next month I will be at Starbucks. I'm trying not to drop names because I just don't want people to I'm not going to say where I am anyway, but I'm going to go to a Starbucks location, but I'm going to be on the outside first because I want to see how it goes. And I want future sponsors to say, oh, okay, well, that's peaceful. She's not doing anything but doing this and that, so, and because when I reach out via email or in person to the general managers or the operators of these restaurants, and I say town hall, they're like, so what do you mean? You know, because I have to break it down. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's not that. You know, we're not coming. It's going to be like 50 of us there and we're shouting and have picket signs. It's not like that. This is more of a customer driver interaction. I'm going to get their take on how they are with the delivery apps and how long they've been a customer and blah, blah, this and that. And that's what it's going to be like. And it's going to be peaceful. And I just want them to know that. And then I'm also trying to get, you know, sponsored food as well. So I'm going to do my part because I feel like I can stay on YouTube, I can stay on social media and talk to people and do videos and do lives, but it hits differently when I'm out there passing the mic. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Passing
that's
the mic to the person and talking to them and saying, hey, so how long you been a customer? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my passion. So I do want to go out there and be in the field and talk to customers. And, you know, I love that feeling because it doesn't bother me. I'll approach anyone. That's why I'm called the #1 networker. I'm not the best, but I am the #1 networker because I know how to network. That is a skill that I have. I built over time. And no one, I don't care, I can lose everything today, but you'll never be able to take me out of being a networker.
And even when your Patreon is beyond popping and that's your focus, you're still going to need to drop on YouTube and all these others. You're just going to have to figure out what it's going to like put pieces or, you know, here's a teaser, here's this, come over to Patreon, and you're going to have to do all that. So, but yeah, one thing I was going to say is you could also use our town hall that I put together here from last summer as an example, because that video's up. I mean, we had everybody. We had, you know, I mean, we had Luis here. We had the Middleton Tech here. We had Pedro. We had Hannibal. We had Dashing Trader. All these people were there at the town hall. And it was exactly what you're saying. It was at a restaurant that I know very well and know the manager. And it was very chill surrounding. And it was like you just said, passing the mic around. It was me kind of emceeing and saying, who wants to talk? This is what we're talking about. Sergio was there. I mean, we were all there. It was a good, I think that's a good thing. If they're like, well, what would it look like? You could just maybe even I'll make a clip and send it to you. So you could just go, you know, here, like something like this and make it like 2 minutes.
Right. Also, Steve, not to cut you off, but what I do want to say is this is not just a movement I created. Like, this is not my movement. This is a movement for all customers, wealthy, celebrity, broke, lazy, convenient, whatever you want to put your what category you want to be put in. It's for all drivers, rideshare, package, food, warehouse. It's for all merchants, retail, restaurants, warehouse, whatever. It's for everyone. But it's going to take, that's why I created this, because it's going to take the steps that I put in this tier. Because people can go, and I said this too, if it wasn't a fee attached to the Patreon and I had it for free, it still would be people complaining because they'll be like, well, why we got to do that? It's 5 steps. Well, why I can't do 1 step? Well, why I have to do this step? It would always, you can't satisfy everyone. And I'm thinking to myself, you got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. You want change. You're complaining about the increased fees. You're complaining about the base pay. If it goes any lower, we're going to be delivering for free. You complain about how much they keep stealing from the restaurants. Let's all come together as one voice and do something about it. But that's too much like right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an old school saying. Chicago, I say that. But I know how it feels now when politicians and people running for president and people doing campaigns, how it feels to get a group of people to vote for you and follow you. It's hard. It's hard. It's very challenging.
Yeah.
It's very challenging.
I mean, I mean, I've been doing pieces with him for a long time, but I do a weekly podcast on Mondays. It was earlier today, with Mike Karubi out of Massachusetts, and he writes federal legislation for DC. So some of the stuff we're battling, he's older than me. He's been doing this for like 35 years plus. And his stories and watching how it's done, it's crazy. Even him as a professional who everybody knows, he'll tell me, well, we can't use that wording because then this group gets offended and then they'll be off board. Then so you got to change that to, I'm like, Jesus, dude, like this is a lot of work. Like
It is.
just to get a few words across, to not put, if you put them in the wrong order, it's like some of the drama on YouTube. It's just taken so out of hand. I don't even know what to say. It's like, it's totally misinterpreted. Like two words could make everything seem wrong. But if you like, he's a wordsmith, what I would call a wordsmith. And so those two words shifted into maybe three different words can completely change the landscape to 2 or 3 people. You know?
So to the chat, I do apologize. I'm trying not to look at the chat. So hello to everyone again. I don't want to type in the chat because it'll come up 2 or 3 times. So hello to everyone in the chat who just recently came in. And then also the chat kind of like stopped my thoughts. I want to stay focused.
So
it is.
Okay, so let me roll back to something then, because I saw that because I wanted to bring this up because I actually approached, I won't say which company, because as you guys know, and I know it's next month. I don't know the date, but that's when my year's up already, and I can talk about the FTC conversation I had. So they contacted David from Para and I last year. We had a conversation with him. They contacted Gary Middleton a couple months ago. I know exactly. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. And the end of my NDA is coming up. But the other thing is, I talked to one of the platforms about food delivery. I talked to somebody who actually has some weight, and I just pitched them an idea because I had the moment. And, Jeff is talking about here about, price fixing is against competition, and fully agree, dude. Supply, demand, all that. But I talked to them about, because it puts them in a much better position to not be paying us a base pay. So just hear me out for a second, because I haven't said this in a while. So if they were to take away base pays completely and make this like a bid platform. So let's say that somebody goes onto the food platform and they say, okay, I want XYZ. And then the flow screen would normally go, it's going to be this. And like, let's use Uber Eats. Do you want it in priority for $1.99 more? And that usually it'll say it's going to be there 5 minutes faster. So you don't choose that, but it just says, okay, it's out. Instead of that, instead of there being a base pay, it actually becomes a complete, true independent contractor relationship. If they're just passing the money along and doing a processing fee, they can still take money for themselves and charge the service fees they want to the customer. But when it comes to us, it's not, it wouldn't be like private bidding, because it's just too big of a platform to do that. But basically, based on times and is it busy and all this and that, you could it would then say, what do you want to pay your driver? Meaning your driver it's not a tip. Your driver hasn't been paid yet, since it's upfront, because upfront tipping is weird. So you would then choose a number, and it would maybe show you, this is the average amount right now, meaning at 5:30 on a Friday, it's going to say like $15 for like 3 miles or 6 miles. And that's what you have to add on. And you can make it lower. You could make it 10, and it might say this might take an hour instead of 20 minutes. Like, it just backpools you and says, if you want to raise your bid, it'll be there quicker. But we're very busy at the moment. It's not even that scamming. It's actually much more transparent than what they use. But they didn't like my idea, because I think that they knew that would get their hand out of the cookie jar. And I was like, but it makes true independent contractorship. And I could see the look in their eye. They were like, yeah, dude, we don't really care for following the laws. That will lose us some money. And no, we won't do that. That's how I felt. I was like, I'm giving you guys a great idea, and you're like, you're just basically saying you won't be able to steal enough from me if we go that way.
Well, I see a few issues with that. The first issue is too many drivers on the platform at one time. So it would be like how they do Trip Radar. So it'll be.
But by the way, there's something coming to that in many, many markets. By the way, they're going to start using a cap. I'm just going to put that out there. But
cap your earnings.
No, like they used to do with cabs back in the day. Like on a Friday
cabs.
night, you
Okay.
can have 1,500 cabs out on the streets.
Oh yeah.
Tuesday, you
read
can only
something
have
like
200.
that.
Like they're not going to just allow 1,000 people to be on the platform. They're going to say
Okay.
you platform's full tonight.
Interesting.
I mean, the platforms aren't psyched about it at all. They want a car every block, but the cities are now getting involved, and they're getting involved in ways they can, because now that all the other ways have failed, they're finding what is the real law that we can go after. And so one of them is we can reduce the cars on the street. We can, and that's the push they'll use to force it. Like, just hint. One thing they'll be talking about when my year is up is just know this: in every one of the 50 states, hint, you are allowed to, by every independent contractor law in every single state, you are allowed to use every tool that you choose to get the job done, free of the hiring entity. So let's just say this: every third-party app is legal, and their TOS won't supersede you using third-party apps.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's some fighting coming up for sure. There's always fighting. But so what's the last pitch on the Patreon page? Like, let's get people over to that. Why should they be there? I am familiar with Patreon. Are you putting out some free content where they can go and watch some of the stuff for free first? Because I know you can be a subscriber, not a member, to kind of test the waters and see. So
with the Patreon channel, I do have a lot of free resources for customers. I try to post Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
okay.
So basically, if you on Patreon, I want to put it in the chat. Can someone?
Is it like, are you doing a
members,
live on Patreon?
No. So I do like it's it's kind of like a Facebook /
Right.
YouTube, right? So
I mean, you can't. I'm just saying, you obviously know you can go live on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that. So if one of my members who are in the chat, Mav or Maverick or Jenny, Red, if one of you can put my Patreon channel, because every time I type in the chat, it goes 3 times, and I don't want to do that. That's why I'm saying that, Steve. I'm sorry.
You probably should do that if you have the link available, because then it goes out to all of them.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that then. I didn't know, because I thought there was an issue if I did that.
But so like,
the Patreon,
if I become a member today, so you said Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Like if you're on track this week for Wednesday, what would I expect for Wednesday though? Like what would I expect to come in there and find?
Oh, I don't know. It'll be Wednesday would be probably I'm gonna pin this this interview that we're doing today.
Okay, I just meant so like the content's changing though. It's not like, oh, we're always talking delivery.
It's different. Yeah, it's different stuff.
Okay.
It's different stuff because I have 3 tiers. So let me start out that way. I'm sorry. So Patreon, I just put the link in the description. So patreon.com Mico Beverage. Basically what it is, that's where I house my movement. So the customer and drivers movement is actually housed on Patreon. I do have a total of 3 tiers. So I have the supporting 2 brands tier. So if you're a driver and you're not a customer and never will be a customer, this is one of the tiers you probably want to jump into to just support the 2 brands. If you're a customer, then I have the customers and drivers tier where the 5-step movement is in that tier. And then I have the small business owner and entrepreneur tier, which me, Peter, and Red, we're a part of. I'm smiling because it's like, I love the support. So sorry. I don't mean to put anybody
No, you're good.
or whatever. But
I'm trying to take in the different levels. So
yeah, we're all in that tier. So I talk about small business owner and entrepreneur stuff in that tier. Of course, my focus is more so the customer and driver tier. So that's what I want customers to upgrade to. So I'm going to give you a scenario. So basically, when I go to a hand it to me customer, because of course I can't really do it to a leave it at the door unless I send them the link. I don't want to do that because I don't want to come off soliciting. Right.
Yeah.
So I try to think like how if somebody would send me something through the text, I don't want to be bothered. So and it depends on the hand it to me customer. So my customer who I reach out to are more at the hotels because they go back, they're coming here to Orlando to visit and they're going back to their city, state, country, county, or whatever. And then they can look at it and be like, wow, this is some interesting stuff. Okay, I see she has this, she has that, she has this. Okay, great. I may not upgrade right now, but I'm going to share this link with other people and have them to join. Now, what I found out, and I'm learning this through trial and error, although I have the QR code for customers to scan and it's quicker, when it comes to their phone, they're like, well, I don't have a Patreon account. I'm like, you don't have to have a Patreon account.
Yeah, that's a confusing thing to some people.
And that's the thing, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to do whatever I can. I'm trying to do everything I can do in 30 seconds or less. So if I can get them to click the join for free button, sign up how you usually sign up. So if you use Google, Apple, or email, do that. Once you get into the account, then it'll say upgrade, skip for now or something like that. So skip for now. And then at the bottom, it has app or stay on web. I always tell people stay on the web. I'm not an app person. Trust me, the only reason why I'm using DoorDash and Uber Eats is because I'm making money. And
By the way, I was just going to say the opposite. I used to do Patreon, and I think especially the customer side app of Patreon is really easy to use, but yeah, either works.
So someone said my mic is breaking up. Is my mic breaking up?
It's been a little crackly, but I think it's good.
Okay,
we're good.
Okay. So if I can get that customer to get to that part where my pin in a pin comment, it has a video, and that's the video, like my campaign video. If I can get them to watch that and actually go through other videos that I created, then it's a possibility. You have to realize that people who never heard of Patreon, people who don't like apps, don't watch TV, don't watch YouTube, they don't know me. They're not just going to go ahead and upgrade, to a tier to pay monthly.
No, that's why
really?
that's why I like that you have the free one, because everybody in here right now or watching on the replay, if you're watching on the replay, you can find it in the live chat or in the show notes. Go subscribe for free. Again, we're trying to explain how you don't need the Patreon app. You could have it, but whatever, you don't need it. Just go start a free account and you can follow Mico for free, because that's a new feature this year to Patreon. They didn't used to offer a free thing. So I mean, that's pretty cool. That allows you to check out, that allows her to post some everybody content and then have some members content. But in the beginning, while she's building, it makes sense. So at least you can just check it out without any payment.
Right. And then also, I've got a lot of feedback with, well, why do I have to pay to see these steps for the movement? As I mentioned before in the video, if you paid attention to the video, I'm saying, look at it as a campaign. If you, like, say, for instance, it takes money to promote and market any type of movement, revolution, or whatever you have going on. Well, how am I going to promote it? It takes money. I want billboards. I'm thinking big.
Yeah.
I want billboards. I want to be on the back of the bus. And we even joked about that. Like, I can only afford probably about a light.
Right. Yeah. Mico and I were joking, because I was like, who sees the back of the bus though? She's like, the one guy behind it.
So But yeah, and then it's kind of like a donation. So you're writing it off at the end of the year. Just look at it that way. You
That's the other thing
donate
I was
it.
going to say. This is a full
Yeah.
write-off because it's work related.
Yeah, you donate it to a cause. And
Yeah.
so, you know, and I started thinking, I'm like, well, even if I had this for free, and I said this earlier in the interview, even if I had this for free, people would still complain because it's like, why is it 5 steps? I got to do 5 steps, or why couldn't it be 1 step? Or why, so I can't please everyone. The only thing I can do is get out there in the community, talk to the people, do my rounds, and say what I'm going to do. Now, some people probably say, well, like I said, this is not going to work. Change your mindset. If you keep coming in with it's not going to work, then it's not going to work according to you. My thing is, if you don't want to support it, that's fine, because this movement is going to happen with or without you. So move out my way, move out of our way, so we can go ahead and get this accomplished. And then you'll be saying a year from now, oh my gosh, this is so, who created this movement? Oh my gosh, I need to talk to the person, because this is what's going to happen. And I'm going to leave you with this thing. So you have this movement that's creating awareness to customers, a foundation that's going to help all customers, merchants, and drivers in the future. Now, I cannot guarantee that when DoorDash and Uber Eats, and Instacart, those are the top 3 that we're going to come after, to say, well, this movement is in place. Oh my gosh, well, we're going to increase the base pay. That's not going to happen. They already have it at $2 and they're trying to go lower.
Yeah, they're not going to come back up ever.
But what I can
But they
say
do need to figure out better solutions, though.
Right. But what I can say is, who was it? Did you say Tony, who created a delivery company?
Yeah.
Now, for him, it would him and other new companies, because it's going to be new companies coming out, starting businesses. I want them to research this movement. And this is where your money to the tiers will take place. Like, this is what it will cover. It will cover SEO. Because every time you turn around, I want you to see customer and driver movement. Every time you turn around, like, I'm so tired of seeing this. That's the reaction I want, because it's going to be posted everywhere. But my point is, when new people are starting their businesses, I want them to go research first and say, you know what, it got to be a movement or some type of legislation or something out there that we can say, okay, we're going to write our policies or whatever around this. Okay, well, we know we can't, this movement, we know we cannot pay starting out $2 base pay to drivers, because we'll be out here delivering ourselves. We know that we can't have all these ridiculous high expensive fees for the customers, because you know what, they're not going to order from us. We have to be fair to the merchants, because we can't keep taking 20 to 30% per order. We have to do maybe a total or a weekly total or a monthly total or something like that. So I hope people will go out there before they start their business, any delivery company that's going to require drivers, customers, and merchants to do their research first on this movement and say, okay, you know what, let's kind of work this out. And if we do decide to have base pay at $5, we need to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Your money, like, look, every business have an operating budget.
I think we all know the $5 base pay, or whatever the highest it ever was strictly meant for one reason. They knew it'd be gone. It was just to overpopulate. It's really tough when you start something and you're trying to build your customers and your driver base. You have to build that driver base quicker, and that's next to impossible, because who wants to sit on a driver base where there's no orders? But that's what you need to do, because without drivers, you're dead in the water. So that's what they did. They put out, that's part of their marketing money, is how I look at it.
Well, this is the thing too. You have 3 unanswered questions. Like, even me, like, these are questions that moving forward, this is what I'm going to be talking about. The first unanswered question is, how did we get to $2 base pay?
Yeah.
How did we get there? It didn't
Yeah.
happen overnight. That took time. That took time to do that. How did we get to customers paying $15 to $20 delivery fees? How did we get there? That didn't happen overnight. How did we get to where we're giving merchants back credits and giving customers back credits because drivers are stealing the food or customers lying saying that they didn't get the food? How did we get to this point? Those are questions that we never talk about that.
Yeah. Bad background checks. First of all, $24 background checks are going to get you $24 worth of a background check, which is crap. Oversaturation. We all know that. Illegal accounts now. And I'm not talking about people in the country. I'm talking about even deactivated drivers who live here and pay their taxes. They're going for them too. They're on Facebook Marketplace. You can grab them from $300 to $600. I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know. You can buy. I mean, I was dying. I mean, like this has gotten way too far. You can go on to. I'm surprised this is not just black web stuff or dark web, because you can go onto Facebook Marketplace and they have purchase a DoorDash account, and then you can go down the hole a little deeper and find out. Wait, oh, you're interested in that? How would you like an ID from any state you want? And they hold it under a blue light and show you the hologram and everything, and then they take it a step farther. This I had never seen. Would you also like an 800 credit score? Would you like to buy that? What?
Wow.
You're selling people's credit scores? Like, seriously?
Wow.
I mean, this is DoorDash accounts being sold is nothing. We all used to say, don't let our data be stolen. Well, our data that day's gone. Everybody's on the radar. You can't be off the radar, and you're basically all your data is already stolen anyway. Don't worry about it. It's just keep your fingers crossed. It's not in the worst of hands. And if you have a lot of money, be extra careful. Watch your account every day.
Right.
Cybersecurity is extremely real. And,
I thought that was the last thing, but can I tell a story, like a short story?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the short story that I'm telling. Now, I cannot release the company name, but after this story, if customers are watching this on my Patreon channel on the replay, and if anyone else watching this, pay attention. So you have a company, a top restaurant that started out on both DoorDash and Uber Eats platform. They decided to come together as a chain, as one. And now, instead of DoorDash and Uber Eats charging them 20 to 30%, they don't get charged anymore per order. Yeah. This is the only restaurant that can do this. And when I found out about it, it shocked me. So I did my research. I went to 3 other locations and talked to, not the staff, I went to go talk to GMs and operators and different people, and they said, yes, that's true. Mm-hmm. I told them that I would never, because don't nobody know about it. I said I would never release the company name. And that's how I know when you want to get something done, just like with this movement, because the customers hold the power. We're all equally important in this business. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, I'm sorry, and I've been the driver the most. Unfortunately, the customers have the most power, not the shareholders, not the CEO, not the founder, because no customers, no business. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say that again.
And their years are up. Their years are up of claiming lost quarters anymore. Like, they need to start making money. They can't just keep telling the investors, "Oh, sorry, we're getting there." No, you can't anymore. Right. No, you're being. They actually have real. They have objectives now. They have to reach them.
So no customers, no business.
Yes.
And and that's actually my third YouTube channel. So if you go to let me put that in the chat as well.
To add to what Mico said, and I won't give up the business name. I'm guessing you guys might guess it from the two of what we're talking about, but I am aware of one where I always go, why would you want me to? My zone's very big. So if I have a scheduled in my zone, it goes from my house all the way up to Denver Airport. And by Denver Airport, there's some hotels. Now, they might say, we need you to pick up from this location and take it 15 miles to the Denver hotels and drop it off. And I go, wait a minute, there's one of these a block away from that hotel. Why do I need to pick it up 15 miles away and drive it there? Even if I'm the assigned driver, why am I not picking it up at the closest one so that it's fresh? Because this restaurant chain has a par. So each of their locations has to do a certain amount of volume. So if you're ever wondering, why am I picking up from here when there's a closer one over there? It's because they have par levels and metrics. So all of their stores have to do a certain volume to get their discounts. So again, putting the customer, customers can get cold food. They don't care. Like there's a better solution. They know about it and they decide doesn't matter. We need the discount.
So I'm just going to finish up the story. So with that being said, whenever someone can say, you know what, I don't have power of voice. Yes, you do. They all came together and now they're paying them. Uber and DoorDash are paying this restaurant per order.
When
now that took time. That took time, but that didn't happen overnight. That took time. They were probably in it maybe 2 to 3 years before they said we all gonna come together. And this is what I'm saying about this movement. If all the customers nationwide, international, worldwide, global, if every customer come together in this movement and do the steps in that tier, I guarantee you DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart will change the way they treat. I can't say guarantee about the driver's pay, but starting with the delivery fees, because I have two options, and I say that in the video. I have two options that I'm going to present to these companies. When I say these companies, I'm saying on social media, on my Patreon channel. Oh, they're probably watching it now. I don't know. But the point is, when I present those two options, and if they don't take one or the other, we're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
I hope it's January, but it may not be that soon because I have to realize I'm doing my part to try and get people to join the movement.
Yes.
But
so, I mean, real quick, guys, again, go join the Patreon. The link's in there, and I'll put it in the show notes below too. Because again, you can join for free. Just go join. You could, next step is next step. Just go join.
Right. So that's the short story that I had.
What do you think happens to about your short story? What do you think happens when they move to exclusive contracts?
Wow.
Do you think all of you think all the merchants start getting paid like instead of paying?
I think with that, I don't think no one else could be able to do what this restaurant did.
No, I'm just like, this means nothing, people. Let's talk about Wendy's. Let's say that Wendy's decided to go exclusive with Uber Eats. Do you think Uber Eats waives all their fees and pays them? No? What if DoorDash on the backside does it and says, okay, well, we'll pay you. Come over here. Be exclusive.
The reason why I'm saying that's why they're weighing, DoorDash is having Wendy's and other restaurants weigh the contents of the food. So no, that probably wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't put anything past these companies. That's why I asked though. I'm immune now. Nothing shocks me that these companies do. You couldn't mention anything at this point. And I'd be like,
Well,
whoa, like literally, I'm just, even like to people that enter into the space today and hear some of this, they might go, wait, all this for real? Is this real? But we're so immune to it because we just are so used to it. Just nightmare move after nightmare move, and playing it to the press like it's a big thing for us, but it always hurts us. There's just never, none of that news is ever, it's never done properly. It's never reported on properly. In fact, it's actually very irresponsible, if you ask me, because just charge Uber or DoorDash or whoever advertising to advertise, because that's all you're doing, but you're doing it through your news format. And that makes it sound like it's real to those people who believe in your news.
Well, you do pay for, like when I was a merchant, and I think they still do this, if you want to be at the front of the website, then you have to pay for, they have like different tabs where you pay for promotion. If you want to promote your restaurant at the front of the page, which I wouldn't pay for that because you have so many restaurants that have years of customer reviews, years of, being in that area. You're wasting money. You would never be to a new restaurant coming out now trying to get on the front page of Uber, DoorDash. That's a waste of money. Do not waste your money on promoting your restaurant on the front page of the website, because it will not happen.
Right.
So
just run a 1 hour special. For 1 hour, we're giving everything away for free. Don't say it's even just an hour and then call all the news medias, let them write articles about it, and there's your advertising. Boom.
Yeah. It's a waste of money. Do you know how many times, and like I said, being a new restaurant, how many times that I think I tried it 3 times, and the only one that worked for me, because you get to do different things. You get to do either buy one, get one free, or if you spend $20, you get free delivery or something like that. The buy one, get one free, you get to select up to 5 items, I think. And so I had, like, of course, the cheaper ones. Why would I put the high price ones, right? Because I got to pay for that.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. When you see buy one, get one free on Uber or DoorDash and it's from the restaurant, we're paying for that too. It's just free to you, but we're paying for that.
This is all so convoluted, but the funny thing is everything you're saying is real. But sometimes I step away from myself and I'm thinking, if I was hearing this for the first time and I walked up on you and me having this conversation, and even if I knew the two of us, I would just kind of turn away and be like, those guys are psycho. They're like making stuff up. Because it sounds made up. It sounds made up, but it's not. None of this is made up.
Yeah.
This is how they operate.
I'm glad I had the opportunity to be a merchant, on both platforms. Because then that's why I'm telling you this. And the only reason why I'm really taking the leadership and spearheading this movement is because the years of experience that I have as a driver. I've been a merchant on DoorDash and Uber Eats, and I've been a once in a while customer. But because I know, and I'm still learning, so I don't know everything. I'm still learning something each day. But I know enough to say, you know what? Some type of solution needs to be done, because if not, it's going to be a lot of stuff happening next year, depending on who get in office.
Oh yeah.
So you have to think about
regardless
that too.
of who gets in office. We've been
it's going to be a
behind
lot
the scene talking about how there's going to be good and bad either way.
Right.
Regardless who gets in, it's going to be good and bad. It's going to weigh one way favorably to us, but it's still going to have bad. Trust me, there's still bad that comes with that good package. So
also, let me say that. I'll say this. I'm sorry. So I thought, when I started this Patreon channel, I said, I don't know if people would follow me. I don't know if people would, because I thought having a Patreon channel, I thought you had to be a big name, or you had to be well known. And although it's been August, I've been doing pretty good.
You know what?
I've been doing pretty good.
Mico, I'll tell you this. I know a lot of people who have active Patreons. I know a lot of people who have done Patreon. the number of people you have on your Patreon is, to me, is huge. You did amazing, because it's hard to hit. This isn't YouTube, guys. This isn't Facebook. This isn't a group. This isn't Instagram. It's none of the social platforms, because when you have that, it's person's already in the environment, so they just hit follow. Okay, I'm involved now. It's hard to get people to maneuver and shift completely off these. Oh, but I just live on Facebook. Well, okay, don't for a minute. Get the hell off and come over here. So that's tough to get people to do that. And so I give you all the credit in the world, because Patreon is a bit of a different animal, you know, and a lot of it, and it has to be pushed by you, especially in the beginning. There aren't a lot of people finding you just randomly on Patreon.
Correct.
They have to be told about you from somebody, or you contacted them. And I think you making that connection, like really connecting with people, that's what's making them do it. And in time, that will play out for the benefit. Because like if half of the people watching this go and sign up for a free account and just even leave it free, but tell others might buy the upper levels. But it's kind of, it's grassroots. It's just like driver rights was. We wondered if we'd hit 1,000 signatures. Then we shot for $5,000. We're now almost 80,000 signatures.
Wow.
So, I mean, like this kind of stuff, you just wonder at first, because it's really hard to get it out of the gate. But once you see the momentum and steam growing a little bit, you know when you need to go, dude, I need to revamp this, or you're always going to be tweaking it, but you know when you've gone off track, and you know when you're on track and you're picking up speed. So, I mean, and there will be times it doesn't feel like it, but as long as you're on that roller coaster and you feel like you've got your path, you'll know. I mean, if you follow your heart and do it right, and you've already got people on there. So we've just got to get more of this community and the audio podcast community too. Again, guys, I'll put her YouTube channel, but I'm also going to put a direct link to her Patreon. So if you've been listening to this, I know a lot of the audio podcast listeners hate YouTube and Facebook too, but a lot of them like Patreons. A lot of my audio podcast listeners do Patreon pages and stuff like that, because they like that it's not a social platform, but it has that experience. So, you do have to go to Patreon. It's not like you go to Patreon and like you would YouTube and just kind of scroll around for information. You're going there to see a couple of things that you're involved with.
Right. And I think what confuses people is I think Patreon needs to change this. When they get to it, the first thing they do is scroll to all the tiers that you have. And that's probably normal, right? Because they want to see what they want to see what they're clicking on, and I get it.
Sure.
But when they scroll, they're like, "Oh, $6, $11, $16, and they're like, "So what do you want me to do?" But the join for free button needs to be bigger. I think it needs to be bigger on Patreon side, because for some reason they see join for free.
Well,
but they don't really click on it.
Because Patreon, again, it's new. Patreon is by the way, to those of you that are not familiar, Patreon's very fair, like in what they charge. They charge a normal processing fee, and yes, they charge a little, but you're keeping way more than like a YouTube or something. So they have the little free up there that they've now included for you if you've landed people there. But they're wanting their little cut. So they want people to join one of those pay tiers. They're just like, yeah, well, where's the free? It's right up here. You don't see it? Like...
So I think if they change that and make it bigger or bolder, or put it, when you scroll down,
you should just make a short on YouTube that has like zoomed out on the Patreon page, and keep zooming in until you're like right on the word free. It's free. It's free.
Yes, no, I agree. Also, I have to have, is it still 50 subscribers to go live? Because the No Customer, No Business is a new channel. So I think I'm at 8 maybe subscribers.
I didn't know you needed any amount of anything. I thought you could just go live.
No, I think to go live on YouTube, you need it. Well, then it was 50. I don't know if they changed it.
Oh, on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
So I need more subscribers so I can, because what I'm trying to do is,
But
I
you
don't
can
wanna put
always
it on the Mico.
you can always plug in Streamyard to it and go live anyway.
But I think they work together though, right? With 50 subscribers. I think so.
I don't know. I feel like I don't even remember. It's been so long for me. I don't remember what you need. If somebody knows in the chat what you
I
need to
think
go
it's
live on
50
YouTube.
subscribers.
Because
Yeah,
I thought
within the channel.
even just through the YouTube interface you could go with a certain amount, but I know with StreamYard you can just connect it. Because I had somebody who had like 15 subscribers go live.
Really? Okay,
Because
I'm
it
gonna check
doesn't
that out.
because you're not using you're coming in through an API with StreamYard, so it's not using the YouTube live. It's weird.
Well, I tried to add my channel as a destination and it wouldn't allow me to add it.
Okay, so he's saying 52. So
Okay, yeah.
oh,
So please go ahead and for the YouTube at Join Mico, go ahead and subscribe to that channel so I can start streaming on that channel, because that's what the movement is built for. I don't want to do it. I'm doing it right now on the Mico the Entrepreneur channel, but eventually I want to just keep that separate. That's why I created that channel. And you know, I want to
you guys, we should be able to get this to 50. I don't know where she's at, but I feel like she's not asking for much. She's not on here going, we need 500 and I'm at 10. Like, I don't care where she's at. We should be able to get her to 50. This is a community, and we should be able to do this. Let's do this.
Yes, 50 subscribers.
Everybody go give this one a sub.
Yes, so I can go live. It's time to grow. So in closing, if you want real change, customers, I'm speaking to you, all customers. I'm speaking to you first. If you want real change of these delivery fees, then please, 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 please go to the Patreon channel, join for free, watch the pinned comment of that video. From there, if you're not convinced to upgrade to a tier and you want real change, either A, I have more work to do, or B, you don't want change and I don't think it's A. So I'm just saying.
Or let me propose a C too. If you watch the video and you never know, and somebody's a little confused, reach out to Mico.
Yes, you can do that as well. But
because you might, who knows? Somebody might get a little confused by something.
Right.
So don't, you never know. Just if she's available is what I'm saying. Like she'll get back to you. So, you're not dealing with some channel that's so over the top they're never going to listen to you.
Right.
That's what this channel is. So,
yes.
So thank you, Mico, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Everybody on the replay. Also, I'm going to put in that same link I've been putting up, and that's in this live chat down below. There'll be the Patreon and that one so that we get her up to the 50 so she can do the live. That sounds doable by the end of this week. I think that I don't know where you're at. But I don't care if you're at 11. I think we should be able to get 39 people to join that channel. Come on. Show some community spirit here, people. But thank you all for joining. And as I like to say when we're leaving, be safe out there, earn smart, and be good to each other. And we'll see you back here next week.
She was just a baby.